All right. We are back on the morning show. JC Parets here, live from beautiful Avalon, New Jersey. We are here with Steve Strazza, our resident Florida man down in Key West, making some moves these days. Maybe moving to the west coast of Florida. I don't know. We got Chartmaster Flex, a one Alfonso in the house. We got Izzy on the ones and twos. We got Oliver Renick. Oliver Renick spent some time at Bloomberg. He was a founding anchor over at the TD Ameritrade Network, now the Schwab Network. Now he's doing his own thing. What I like about Oliver is Oliver's not, one of these media guys trying to do markets. Oliver's a market guy. He's a trader. He's a market participant. He's a poker player. One of us. So now that he's on his own, we're going to hear what he has to say. So tune in, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, hit the like, hit all of those things. It helps. Izzy, let's go. Hit it. All right.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Can I make a confession?
Please.
You know how I sent you that picture yesterday of the wine that came in from Napa?
Yeah.
Got a little carried away last night.
How many bottles?
Throw up slide 2 there, Izzy. I got a shipment from Napa. We are on our 5th vintage now at Chateau Fibonacci. And so we got the 21s, those are ready to go. So the 22s, 23s, and 24s came in. And the 22s a year ago were undrinkable a year ago. And I got to tell you, I am calling the guy today to bottle it. It is
so awesome. Makes that big. So 1 year, really that big of a difference for wine.
Something a year in New French Oak is going to do it. Remember, 22 was a really hot year. August, September fried a lot of the fruit in the valley, low yields across the board. We only had 2.8 tons versus 4.6 the year before in the same acre and a quarter parcel. So 22 was like a weird year, undrinkable a year ago. It is might be the best one yet, actually. Might be the best one. Went from the worst to the best with a little age. How about that?
So how big of a variance is there between each year? Like obviously 2022 was a little funky with the low yield, but how about 23 and 24?
Yeah, not much because Napa's in a valley. There's human irrigation. It doesn't rain.
No robots? They're not using bots out there, Kyle?
No, we got Mexicans, bro.
Okay, right.
Yeah, man. These guys are killers, man. These guys are they're training in the off season. These guys are so good. And their tacos, forget about it. You guys on the East Coast, you guys don't know nothing.
No, we don't.
These guys do it right, man. Dude, I miss Mexicans since moving back to the East Coast. I miss Mexicans so much. I really do. Oh, I love these folks so much. So I miss them. But 23s are tasting great, but they already were. The 24s, this was the first time I tried the 24s because they've been in barrel for about 8 months. 24s are pretty good. So, listen, these are high alcohol wines, so it kind of snuck up on me a little bit. That's what I got. Listen, we got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about magazine covers. I want to talk about retail investors selling. I want to talk about net outflows out of ETFs. We got Oliver Renick in the house. We got Kenny in the house. What do you say we do a little state of the markets? All right, we've got the Dow futures down 200 points this morning, and that's about 0.5%. So 42,666 for the Dow. S&P 500 futures down about 40 bips. That's 25 points to the downside. 65. We got the NASDAQ down about 100 points. That's less than 0.5% to the downside. A little over 22,000 for the NASDAQ 100 futures. 30-year bond futures up again. 2/3 to the upside for 30-year bond futures, pushing 113.5. Big move. Crude oil up again, up 2%. 71.5, up almost 2% on the day. Copper flat at 482. Gold relatively flat, around 3,400. It's silver making the moves this morning, up 1.3%. pushing $37 an ounce. Shout out silver with the VIX back above 20. VIX back above 20. What do you think everybody's so scared about? We got the Bitcoin over in funny money land just under 106, down 1,100 points on the day. That's 1% to the downside. We got Ethereum up 0.2%. That's 15 points to the upside, 25.50 for the ETH. And the Solana, 150 and change flat on the day with the total crypto market cap. Mr. Spencer Israel, if you're out there listening, 3.25 trillion for total crypto market cap.
I'm interested in the what? I'm interested in the home builders today because Lennar, one of the largest home builders in the U.S., just reported pretty muted reaction, but the stock doesn't do too much after hours. So I think we're going to learn what the market thinks about its report as soon as we open here in about an hour. So that's LEN. Paying close attention to that one today. You have nice coils, and these stocks have been hit as hard as any, and they've bounced as weak as any over the course of the past month and two. So I think it's decision time for the homies. I don't expect them to move in a different direction than literally everything else.
And are you looking for relative strength, or are you trying to do some bottom fishing? What are you thinking?
No, there's no relative strength here. This would be like a cute bottomy fishing trade. Sean and I have been talking about it. It's one of those patterns where you just want to be involved when it picks a direction, up or down. I'm leaning up just because everything's leaning up these days. But I think you just trade it wherever it goes, the home builders.
So, so you think maybe like a straddle, maybe?
No, it's not for me. But
no,
these interest rate
pick a side.
No, yeah, these interest rate sensitive groups, mixed results lately, right? Banks, biotech, speculative growth. Look at that. That's an interest rate sensitive group. They don't seem to give a shit. And then you got the home builders doing what they're doing. And it's not just the builders, right? It's the building materials stuff. Even things like Rocket, UWMC, Zillow, not so good. The whole space, really.
I got a couple of things to talk about here. If you want to throw up slide 3 there, just this is the performance so far this quarter. I think it's really telling. When we talk about rotation into the defensive assets, based on what we're seeing this quarter, it seems like the exact opposite. You've got technology up 17.7% so far in Q2. Industrials almost double digits. Discretionary number 3. Communications after that. Right? And what's down at the bottom? Healthcare, energy, staples, real estate. Right?
Yeah.
Does this look defensive to you, Strazza?
No, and proud of us because we were loud about this at the time, at the turn.
Especially you. I'll give you credit.
You were agreeing though. We said you go right back to large cap tech. Don't overcomplicate it.
Yep.
Go right back to those old leaders.
Yep. Nailed it.
And JC, what you're seeing too, because this kind of price action also affects a lot of these intermarket ratios. Big give back in ex-US versus US. And that's just this, right? If the biggest tech stocks in the world are going to be the best stocks again, US is going to be the best place to be. So how long this lasts is going to weigh a lot on that decision of how much international do I really want, right? If you're going to make the bet, hey, this is right back to tech and it's going to stay that way for the rest of the cycle, you probably don't want to be too heavy in international. And if you do, you want to pick your spots selectively. You want to be in the growthier, techier international indexes.
I have a really interesting chart. I have a couple of really interesting charts that I wanted to share. Here's the first one. Izzy, if you could throw up the new slide 2. The new slide 2. This is a really interesting one that I've been monitoring here.
That US dollar, though. Ooh.
See that?
Let me see. Show me. Okay. The dollar bills.
What do we think about that?
The Economist, they're so controversial.
Controversial?
They can't help themselves. Yeah.
And what is it that's controversial about them?
I don't know. Is that like a bag on somebody's head? Is it a money bag? What's going on? Is somebody getting suffocated with a money bag? I don't understand it. Every one of their covers is kind of scary though.
You're saying they have issues with that. Yeah, head cover with the money bag. Yeah, it's a little aggressive. Says how a dollar crisis would unfold The dollar bottomed that day, actually. So
I
far.
I think I think you should go and read these silly articles and then explain them to us on air. That would be a great
Funny you mentioned that. That is a little foreshadowing there with what I'm about to talk about. Izzy,
Really?
can you reset that and go to the new slide 3, please? So while the geniuses over at the Economist magazine, let's remember that these are journalists parading around as economists, so double fade there. So we like that. And then when you're looking at the fund managers, clearly the fund managers out there are reading the Economist magazine. We have the most underweight positioning in the US dollar in over 20 years. Um,
Mhm.
it seems like maybe we should be buying dollars, bro.
I don't know, man.
What do you think about that?
We'll see.
It's a little
We'll
aggressive.
see.
It's a little aggressive. By the way, the chat is on fire this morning, liking the beard. Liking the beard. What do you think?
Oh, I know. I'm a big fan too. I saw their comments and I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
you look
wife
good,
has
beach
yet to
man.
tell me to shave it. I'm a little surprised. Usually she's like, "Why are you growing your beard?
No,
You look
tell her
ridiculous."
it's a beach beard, honey.
She hasn't said a word. She hasn't said a word.
Yeah,
I'm
because
waiting for it.
you're allowed to relax a little. Summertime, you know?
I mean, listen.
Live your life.
I do what I want. I'm a grown man. I don't know how it works in your household, but I wear the pants around here. She
Uh-huh.
doesn't need to hear me say that, but between us, right? Um, I'm just a little surprised that she hasn't said anything. That's all.
She hasn't noticed.
So guys, what do you guys think here? A little aggressive on the old dollar, huh?
I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm not picking a direction in either way. I think my stuff will generally do better with lower dollars, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right, I got another one here for you
Oh,
guys. Another one.
hey.
I think this is a good one. Let's see. Here we go. Izzy, if you could throw up the new slide 2. Here's a good one for you guys. Boom, boom. Little how you doing? Just in case you guys have not been keeping score at home. This one's for you, Strazza. This one's for you.
Bang. Yeah. I'm waiting till the Nasdaq gets there to put the bull market shirt back on, just like we had
I mean, this
discussed.
is the S&P 500
Yeah.
Technology Index Fund,
Yeah.
closing yesterday at the highest level in the history of the S&P 500 Technology Fund.
Yeah. No, I see it. I see it.
What are we thinking?
What?
What are we thinking there, huh?
It's about time. Europe's been there for over a month.
Well, Europe was doing nothing while technology was driving things. Remember, the Nasdaq doubled in 2 years after Wall Street's analysts. They're so brilliant over there. They told you going into 2023 consensus that the S&P 500 was going to fall in 2023. As it turns out, the Nasdaq only doubled. No big deal.
I think so much is working. Tech is one of those spaces you just want to lean into so hard right now. All of it. The big stuff, the really big stuff, the small stuff, the speculative stuff. Have you seen semiconductors the past few weeks?
What do you think?
It's
You
like
think I've seen them?
Nvidia reported earnings. Everybody stopped caring about semiconductors. They've been going off. Even the worst ones. Look at like an AMD. Look at Micron. These stocks are back. Look at the AI trade. You see this coil and super micro? I haven't thought about this stock in a year and a half.
Can you throw up slide 9, please, sir? So I just want to continue to pick on some of the worst humans here on the planet. Here we go. This is what the journalists parading around as economists are telling your parents' financial advisors.
So think
These are a
about
couple of magazine covers here from the last few weeks. American Disorder.
Yeah.
That's a scary one.
So
How about new, untested, and dangerous American business? How do you feel about that?
what are they saying about American finance there? Is
Funny
this
you
about like
should
some sort
ask.
of new instruments?
Funny you should ask.
Private
I
credit?
I
What's the
I I
problem?
was I try to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what? Maybe the cover's a little scary, but the article's not that scary. So I kid you not, I actually looked at the article, right?
What was
It's
it
like
about?
Playboy magazine. I buy them for the articles, right? So I go in there, I look at the articles. The article's actually worse than the cover. Swear to God.
Yeah, okay.
Swear to God.
What are they talking about?
I
Like
tried to give them the
asset-backed
benefit of the
securities?
doubt, and they did it again. It's actually
Okay.
terrible.
And why
You should
and
read
why are
it.
they And why are they burning the palm trees?
They are very angry Brits, and they don't like that the stock market is doing so well. They hate Trump. They hate American exceptionalism, and we love all of it. And
Jeez.
then just to be clear, this isn't like one of those things where they're always bearish and everything like that, right?
JC, we have to contrast the two very different conversations that you and I are having this morning. You're coming here showing me articles, magazine covers, one of the most popular business periodicals out there that are very scary, right? Telling investors some very scary things. And then listen to what I'm over here talking about. Space stocks, mooning. You can pretty much throw a dart at this market. It's all back to tech, semiconductors, the AI trade. More and more things are everything's working. Commodities are literally going off out here. You see Archer Daniels Midland? Has anybody been talking about platinum? I mean, everything is literally working in this market, and this is what they're writing about. What a shame.
Can you I'm here for it. Can you throw up slide 11? Because in case you were wondering how they felt about crypto, here's the latest. Crypto meets the swamp. Why it won't end well.
So Coinbase was up like 8-9% yesterday almost. They're entering Europe, getting their licenses to do business in the EU. Market loves
Bitcoin, they came out with this one here. The geniuses over at The Economist. Bitcoin
That's
bottom
old.
that
Come
day.
on. Come
and then
on.
I just wanted to throw this one up because people are like, well, they're angry Brits and they're always bearish. That is not true at all. Let me remind everybody about the stampeding robot bulls. Literally, as the stock market was about to crash, stampeding robot bulls. I kid you not. Here it is. This was in 2020. Just as we were already getting short and buying treasury bonds. Remember, we were already short. We were already buying treasury bonds as a defensive trade. And then they put out this magazine, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Stampeding robot bulls, bro. Come on. Look at
this
that.
One might have
the
been
logos.
The best.
It has the logos of each of the tech stocks on the forehead.
This might be the best. This might be the best one ever.
I have a copy.
Been
like
some
a
good dollar
copy,
ones
obviously.
Okay, listen. Question in the chat. Solar energy. Am I buying? Yeah. Like you got to be in the right ones though in this group right now. So like, I'm big in Array. Wish I had more Solar Edge. I think Run is at an interesting.
Well, so all these things are getting slaughtered right now.
No, they're not. Something like Enphase, you got to stay the hell away from. Got to stay away from.
They were getting hit. They were getting killed last night. They're down. Solar Edge is down 31% this morning, bro.
Dude, Solar Edge has a beautiful looking base. That's just how the stock moves. It was coming out of this base past few weeks. I don't think that changes. Something like Array, like, I don't know, draw a line here at 7 3/4. These could be buying opportunities. But it shows you kind of the game that you're playing
today. So if you're looking for exposure in these areas.
Yeah, this has happened a couple times over the course of the past few months, down 20-30% days. But when they're up 20-30% too. So. Yeah, no, these have been some of the wildest stocks in the market, completely headline driven trends. So maybe use options. We went like 10x on first solar calls, and then remember they got blasted like the very next day. So
can I just throw out one more? I don't want to just keep picking on The Economist. They just make it so easy. Let's pick on somebody else. Pick on somebody else quickly. Slide 3. And here's what the news people are telling your parents. Gold is the new risk-free asset, Strazza. Gold, the new risk-free asset instead of the dollar.
It's no good.
Oof. Come on. We got to be near a dollar low, bro. We got to be near a dollar low. Come on.
I like gold. It's nice. A little jewelry. So listen, did you see what happened? You're a big Disney guy, big parks guy. Have you seen the sippy cups? Yeah. Have you seen like the character themed sippy cups at the gift shops at the Disney parks?
Sure.
Like a Pooh Bear, like Winnie the Pooh, or like Simba.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. A little Maui.
Little stuffed animals. What do they call those really trendy stuffed animals? Cushies.
Stuffies.
Stuffies?
Yeah, stuffies.
No. Really? They're really trendy right now. I'm talking about the trend. They're smushies. No?
I don't know. Sounds expensive.
throw up the chart. So this is SRM Entertainment. Call this a reverse merger. The guy,
So what happened here?
Justin Sun, somebody, Tron Token founder, gave him I think an equity injection of either 100 mil or 200 mil. I think it was 100 mil, right? And now this company is going to implement a new micro strategy styled treasury investing situation where they're buying Tron coin, probably raising money, capital markets, doing convertibles, and then buying Tron tokens. And what do you think the market thought about this news? They're going to keep selling the stuffed animals to the Disney parks. Don't get me wrong, right? MicroStrategy apparently still sells some sort of computer chip or some sort of terrible side business. So they're still doing that. Don't worry, you can still get your sippy cups. The kids could still get their stuffies. However, the market really rewarded this one. How much do you think the stock was up when they announced this?
I mean, a ton. I see here.
It's up like 600%, 700%.
Jesus. Yeah, 550%. Wow. What a move.
What a time to be alive. Sign of the times. This is kind of the environment that we're in. Stocks that are doing this kind of stuff are getting rewarded like crazy. And you're also seeing space stocks IPO do well. The Circle IPO was a smash hit.
Indeed.
It's turning into a very hot market. It feels more like 20 and 20 every day. I'm not kidding.
All right. I got one more chart for you, and then we'll get to Kenny Glick, who's in the house, see what's moving this morning. New slide 2 there, Izzy. This one for Steve Strazza. This one coming from the homie Jeff Mackey.
They're called the Squishmallows. That's it. Thank you, chat. Squishmallows.
Yeah, Squishmallows.
Yeah.
So this one, I saw this, and I'm like, first of all, this further confirms Jeff Mackey, best charts in the game, no doubt. I mean, come on, look how good this is. And then I'm like, you know who would like this chart? Steve Strazza.
No, this was just a great note by Jeff, where he literally just dug in and picked apart all the outfits and the sponsors of the different golfers. I thought that was so cool because golf, we've talked about this, is a huge business. And the way they're dressing these guys is important. And what he was saying about Scotty Scheffler, absolutely hilarious and spot on.
Izzy, if you could drop the link in the chat, those of you who are curious to read Jeff Mackey's note, agree with Strazza, great note, talking about how watching golf is work. I don't think my wife's going to believe that for a second. No,
but you do. Like, what goes on the golf course and what people are wearing, JC, I'm telling you. I've been telling you for years that Nike had problems and Under Armour too. You can't wear
I was talking to Mackey yesterday, and he was telling me that in the cruise ship game, I am not a cruise ship person. It seems like my worst nightmare.
Not at all.
To be on a boat with thousands of people from Times Square, And you know what? You know what really, ruffles my feathers about these schmucks? They're gonna go on, like, some people go on like these like European cruises and like these Mediterranean cruises. They don't even eat dinner in the cities in Italy. They're eating on the fucking boat.
I know.
Like, what are you even doing?
I know.
Like, you're going all the way to Europe and you're not even having dinner when you're in Italy. In Italy, you're having dinner on the boat like an idiot. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
My parents and my brother are in Italy right now, and the FOMO I'm getting from the food pics. My God.
I don't understand. And then you, who lives in Key West, knows very well that when the cruise ships are around, like, holy shit, stay away, right?
Oh, yeah, don't go downtown. No, everybody hates it.
So, I mean, I don't understand what people are thinking. So my understanding from the conversation I had with Jeff yesterday is that there's different kinds of cruises. There's like bougie rich people cruises, and there's like really cheap poor people cruises. And he's telling me that the rich people cruises, those cruise lines are doing way better. So that's the color we just got on the cruise ship game.
People are still booking cruises though. Like, these charts, these stocks have been good.
I just don't understand why can't you just like fly there and just rent a car or like get a driver? I mean, why would you go have dinner on the boat instead of just eating dinner in the country you're visiting? Like, I just don't understand.
I don't want to drive in a country where you have to drive on the opposite side of the car.
It's not that hard. It's not a big deal.
Have you done it?
Yeah, of course. England, Australia. Yeah.
And then how does that work? So you cross a border to another country
You know the
where
worst part about it? You want to know the worst
you like
part about
switch
that?
sides at the border?
You know, the worst part about that is that when you forget. So like
Yeah.
you'll be fine, and then you'll go and have like lunch or like go do whatever you're doing, and then you get back in the car and you
Right.
always walk to the wrong side. You're like, oh shit.
Right.
And then you walk
Right.
around. So like that's the worst part about it. It's not so bad.
It's better than forgetting while you're driving, I guess. All right.
Indeed. That happens too. All right, we got Kenny in the house. Get him out. Bring him out. Bring him out.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come from my club, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hold up. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Kenny Glick in the house. Ooh, ooh.
So many things that you just mentioned. I could talk cruises for the next half an hour, the pros and cons. Listen,
For me, the cons very much outweigh the pros. I don't understand why you would go all the way to Greece or all the way to France and then eat on the fucking boat instead of eating in the country that you're in. Like that just doesn't make any sense to me.
you do have a choice. They call it excursions. They could take you out to the special places. Yeah, they just charge a little bit more. Yeah. But you know what? There is a cruise that you want to go to. It's the Hawaiian cruise and the Alaskan cruise, because you're not going to want to fly in these little tiny planes going from little place to little place. The cruise just takes you there. You get off the boat, you have a good time, and then it's not so bad. And again, you get a drink card. I don't need to go on cruises anymore because I don't put the drink card to good use. But back in the day, drink card. You guys know what I'm talking about. Drink card. Yes, you're everybody's best friend.
Yeah, or you could just pay cash like a normal person. I don't need this like drink card. I could just like walk up to the bartender and be like, yo, give me some, you know?
And Viking Cruises, yeah, that was one of the best IPOs I had bought in a very long time. It was one of those IPOs where it opened up and there was nobody selling ever. And I had not seen an IPO like that in a very, very long time. So I bought the stock and did pretty well. So Viking Cruise, VIK, it just flew under the radar. And that's the kind of IPO that usually does work when it's not hyped up. But speaking of IPOs, yeah, the Circle one, phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, so are you trading this thing?
Oh, I know what, I missed the Circle. I haven't even gotten to the ebb and flow. Core Weave was more my thing, you know, especially because there was so much negativity about it. The day when they released, one guy said, we can't function as a society without Core Weave. And one guy said, this is the dumbest company ever that shouldn't even exist. And I was like, ooh, I got to buy this stock. Guy says it's worthless. I love that. Especially I think it was the same guy that said Palantir was worthless also. So yeah, but I'm looking at solars. I mean, the blatant manipulation is almost comical. We're about to break out in the entire sector. Trump along, Cassidy comes along and says something in the bill and crushes the stock. So I'm going to watch solar, see if there's a little bounce. You know, these stocks are down. Some of these are down 40, 50% today, like Sedge. Things on the verge of a breakout. And again, if you believe in manipulation like I do, they take it to the highest possible level before they drop it on its head, because that stock hadn't seen the 24 level in about a year, like we were talking about yesterday. And then the next
what happened? Did they invent a new cancer?
I think Trump says he's getting into solar. I don't know. Something happened. Yeah. He invented he's selling new phones that if you hold it up, it charges your house. Something like that. I don't know what's going on. But it's something Trump related, something in the bill. I think they're cutting off subsidies or whatnot. But you know, again, it's not going to matter. Stocks will probably bounce. Like, you know, yesterday we played a couple of drug stocks. The drug company, which is SRPT. You guys know this stock?
Yeah, of course.
This stock has been a pump and dump for 20 years.
Sarepta.
It's always come back, which is pretty.
Is this the one? Hold on, Kenny. Is this the one that is going to eliminate the colonoscopies? Is that the one?
I don't know, but I hope they do. I don't know.
I think that this is the one. I'm pretty sure this is it. In the chat, those of you who know.
Well, they were evacuating this stock for the last month before yesterday's complete, you know, crash. So I am still looking at that one. You know what else was fun? S-Bet. You know, again, you give me a stock that crashes, there will be short covering. And when does the short covering usually ensue? VWAP. And then we usually get back to prior day VWAP. And, you know, I tell you, SRPT and S-Bet were our two best trades yesterday. It was just, you just had to wait a while and then, you know, get involved. Am I a hoarder? You know I am. Why? What's up? You need something?
Look at your office.
Anybody need an iPad? I found two more in my basement. Anybody need an iPad?
I actually do. All right, Kenny, give me one more. Yeah, there you go. Bridal Mac knows. Yeah, so I'm right. Yeah, that's it. Poop in the box, and then you mail it in. That's
Oh,
cool.
that's what SRPT. Oh my God, they do those commercials for Cologuard. Is that's them?
No, Billy says it's not the colon play. Some people we're getting mixed fake news here. Bridal Mac, fake news.
Okay. Well, I'm still looking at drones. The mob is breaking out. You know, we got into the stock for a little swing trade action when it broke above 250. Flirting here with $3 today. So mob Israeli drones. How could you go wrong there? Not a lot of volume. That's why I'm not overly excited. But UMAC is another drone. So I'm looking at the drones. PRZO, another drone. RR usually rips along with that too. RR. Some of these robotic stocks and drone stocks. So, and again, if you haven't noticed, Quantum, some of these stocks are at all-time highs. I'm looking at the laggers like RGTI. Maybe that'll wake up. But really, I'm going to stay focused on seeing if I can catch a bounce on some of these solar stocks. I love it when they're down. I mean, I think Solar Edge Sedge is down, 30-something%. So if this thing gets to $15, it has Jerry Orr back the entire move. So I'm going to, again, this thing just went from 14 to 24, right back to 16 in a day. So I'm going to look to play a bounce. And again, we're just, little in, out, make our money. And, that'll be our day.
So you like the solars. All right. I figured you would.
Right around the corner already. It's almost going to be July.
All right. Looking forward to getting those alerts on the Faux Show, bro. Mr. Kenny Glick, ladies and gentlemen, get him at hitthebid.com. Trade along with him. The stocks that are moving the fastest every single day. Love it. Nobody does it like Kenny. Oh yeah, Danny is talking about Exacts. EXAS. That's the one. That's the poop in the box.
Cologuard. Okay.
Poop and mail. Poop and mail.
That's the creepiest commercial ever. Yes.
Listen, I'm rooting for him. I'm coming up to that colonoscopy age. I'm not trying to get fingers in my butt.
Woo! All right. On that note,
adios.
See ya.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that at all. All right, we got Oliver in the house, but I did want to drop this one chart here quickly. We're looking at CoreWeave here. If you can throw up no. All right. Well,
Did we lose JC? Am I on, Izzy? All right. Bear with us, guys. We're having some internet issues here this morning, I guess. So we'll just keep going. And JC will hop back here and we'll bring on Oliver in a second. All right, let's throw up some slides, Fonz, and just go through some charts while we wait. So the weakness on solar is coming off the heels of not just the fact that apparently bad news for them in this bill, but Guggenheim came out with a note this morning talking about just how terrible it is, especially for the residential names. So the weakness in solar has been focused on these residential solars. Throw up the Bitcoin charts here on 13. So Bitcoin's still struggling with this breakout level. Maybe just bring on Oliver then.
There we are. We are back, baby.
There you go. You all right? Okay.
Bring him out. Let's go. Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
What's up, Oliver? How you doing, man?
What up, JC? You hear me okay?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Beautiful, dude.
Was that fun in New Orleans or what?
I had a great time with you guys, man. That was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you made it. Glad you made it.
Dude, those guys got out the day after we left. Did you know that? Or at least the day after I left.
Dude, the guys escaped prison like the day after we left. That was crazy.
Dude, that's crazy. You know, that happened here in Chicago once too, and nobody really knows about that. People think I make that up, but they did they did their sheets out the window from the one downtown.
What do you mean they did their sheets out the window?
They like tied sheets together one time and they got out of the prison downtown Chicago.
Wow.
Just like I don't know how they did it in New Orleans, but 10 of them got out the day after the conference.
Yeah, that's crazy. Conference is a strong word, right? How
Yeah.
would you describe it? Would you describe that as a conference?
I would say it was an exclusive conference. I would say that was I would say it was more like a brainstorm. I love the way that you guys play off each other and obviously know each other's histories of trading very well. Your guys' memory for trades is so different from mine. You guys have a very unique type of mindset that I've only kind of scratched the surface of, to be honest, because I think in such a macro perspective. But your technical stuff is where we find a lot of common ground. And thinking about the world from that perspective, which is a lot of that I learned from you, as well as a lot of people from Thinkorswim too. You were kind of always the guy in the comments saying, look, higher highs, don't make it. It doesn't need to be more confusing than that most of the time. So that's kind of the revelation that I had about charts and technicals. But I just think about it on such a big picture. And you guys are so specific with stocks and your history being able to remember them. So it's fun.
Yeah.
Brett's coming up here. Johnston's coming up here next month.
Who's coming where?
Brett Johnston's coming up here to Chicago. We're going to go play a little cards. And yeah, we had a great conversation.
Good. I'm glad. I mean, listen, that's part of why we do
Staj
it.
and I meeting Staj was cool.
Throw up that link. Those of you perhaps interested in joining us at our next Portfolio Accelerator event that we're going to have in Toronto, click the link.
Oh, hey, and what was my trade, JC?
What was your trade? Which one? The MicroStrategy Bitcoin?
Bingo, baby. And guess who did it? Literally, I don't know technically when he went public, but it might have been the same day. I believe it was that Wednesday. I said, you go long Bitcoin, short MicroStrategy. I came from it from a little bit of a different perspective, but it's the Chanos trade.
You're absolutely right. Throw up slide 2. This is what Oliver's talking about here. We're looking at a chart of MicroStrategy, or the artist formerly known as MicroStrategy. Now it's just strategy, like Prince, right? Just Prince.
Hold on, I left my fridge open. I met him in Vegas. How crazy is that?
So here what we're looking at is the ratio between MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. And Oliver in New Orleans last month was basically like, listen, Bitcoin, MicroStrategy is worth 2x the amount of Bitcoin they own, and they're
so that's what's so interesting. Chanos frames it in terms of value, of course, where he's buying a Bitcoin and selling it worth 2.5. But actually, that's not the way I was even thinking about it, to be honest. That's probably the mechanical way to do it. I'm actually trying to figure out his trade. I'm working with people to develop a product on that trade. I think it's still hot. One of the things I'm doing right now is trying to work with some ETF providers to get something like that out, which is
so an ETF where you're taking advantage of the arbitrage.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to do it. Get at me. If anybody in chat knows how to do that, I can make it happen right now. If you can show me how to do that
mechanics really
on a
aren't
trade,
that hard. You're buying one, shorting the other, right?
Well, I mean, but here's the question though. He's buying a lot, I believe, and he's going to be doing obviously on huge size. But I don't know.
Chanos.
Yeah.
This thing has been going on for years. When you look at what MicroStrategy is trading, right, relative to how much Bitcoin they own, it's been trading at 2x, 3x, 4x, the valuation of the Bitcoin they own. Right now it's 2x and change. The market obviously can stay irrational longer than, investors can remain solvent. What's really interesting, Oliver, back in the day, 25 years ago or so, when 3Com spun off Palm, there was a situation in arbitrage like that because 3Com maintained huge ownership in Palm. So 3Com was trading for less than nothing, based on its ownership in Palm. That took
Right.
about 4 months to
Yeah.
arb out. 4
Yeah.
months. This has
Which is
been going
why,
for a while.
you might exactly, you might have to be able to hang on to it for a while, Um, I've just yeah, it's a fun concept. I was actually thinking about it from the perspective of beta because I'm pretty sure that if you just know how much downside you want to cap on Bitcoin, then you can pretty easily hedge it out with MicroStrategy. So that's one way to do it. But I'm a better poker player than a trader, so I stopped trading mostly, to be honest. Um, I was doing kind of bigger macro trades. I had a pretty good trade when I first started trading at Thinkorswim, and I hit a lot of the 2022 interest rate stuff. And then I started playing around with futures to hedge my positions, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. Why am I not, using futures to put on in the same direction and lever myself? And Rick Ducat at Thinkorswim was like, Oliver, don't mess around with that stuff. And then I blew up my account. Um, and I probably did that. And then,
What year was that?
that was probably, I got cleaned out. It wasn't a big account, but it was basically, I guess, October lows 23.
Yep.
When we came back, and I was still kind of stuck in the interest rate macro regime. And then this year I started trading a little bit and I did great on Bitcoin. I always actually do pretty good on Bitcoin. That's what's so funny about it, because people know me as such a crypto cynic, but to me it's pure price action. And so it's the easiest thing to trade. Like, I look at my account, I got killed on the dollar this year, and that basically broke me even. I said, okay, I'm happy not to have lost money. I'm going back to cards, playing poker. And specific types of poker as well. But that's kind of the only speculative stuff I do. I'm starting a business, so I don't really do too much trading. So your guys's mindset, it's too risky for me, basically. I could do that when I had a big, check coming in. But now I'm out there grinding, which is why I got 15 minutes, by the way. I got hard out.
No, you're good. You're good, man. Let me know when you got
I
a dip.
apologize. By the way, you guys are hilarious. You know what? I love this because I've never done this type of stuff before. It reminds me so much of like when my dad would watch TV or listen to the radio, sports radio. I'm not a big sports guy, but when he would listen to sports radio and call in, and he'd be waiting, man, come on, I know, I want an iPad. It's cool. I like it. So I appreciate the invite, man. And it was really fun meeting everybody in New Orleans. I would highly recommend, and I was impressed. One of the things that impressed me the most at TD Ameritrade was we would do these market drive events, and we go out and meet people. And JJ Keenahan, who's just a real kind of pioneer of talking to people about trading, would go to these things, and that was when I immediately knew I was in a good group of people the first time I went to one of those. And I was also impressed because the people I met there, sometimes they would sound kind of crazy, and then they'd show you, hey, can you help me out with my trade? And they'd show you a portfolio of $2.5 million. And you could see that they had been good traders. So you guys were like a very focused, laser focused version of that. That's the best way to describe it.
My favorite thing that I think I said after the first day, before the second day, I'm like, all right, guys, I know we're here to have fun. I know we got a lot accomplished today. And I know we're in New Orleans, but try not to be so hungover tomorrow, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
I
remember
went to the
saying that. I'm like,
casino.
man, that is real. That's keeping it real. Like, go out, have fun, but let's try not to be useless tomorrow. Like, that was my
Yeah.
message. And the message came across loud and clear, I think.
Dude, it was fantastic. I learned a lot, and I like that you guys also respected my views. And it was very cool. A lot of people there, knew who I was. And that was a huge flattering thing for me, because a lot of it gets lost in the ether when you're in a box for 4 hours a day, for eight years or so.
And can you tell me, most of us, I know I haven't, and most of the people on the chat, if not all of them, have never experienced that, living 8 years in a box, so to speak.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
elaborate on that? Because, one of the things that we like to do here, not so much with your work and your network, but in many others, what we look to them as really contrarian indicators, whether we're looking at magazine covers or, headlines from, certain publications and whatnot. What is it like, being in a quote unquote in a box for 8 years? What's that like?
Man, it is there's a very cool question, by the way. I appreciate you asking me that. I'm literally retweeting the feed right now because I would love, I really appreciate this opportunity. JC, it's It's a complicated thing, honestly. You know, you're talking to a lot of people, but then no one at the same time. But then you also have the deep connection with people who do come on the show. So it's been fantastic, really, to see how those kind of flourish outside of that. I love television, and I probably, I'm going to do a form of television, and doing this is fantastic. I love this. Um, but it feels like after looking at the market from an outside perspective, I have to spend more time in it, and not necessarily trading it, but creating something that I can own, because a lot of, you own your image basically when you are and you don't even own it that much. Um, and the thing I also found out is that, there's so many of these people who have massive followings. And then they struggle to figure out what to do with it. And it never even occurred to me to try and accumulate a large following. Like I was kind of joking when I was traveling last couple of weeks. This is my week as an influencer. I could not keep up with those kids, man. I couldn't. I've never felt so old in my life the past couple of weeks because I'm trying to, but the great thing about it that I also discovered that's so amazing is that now whatever I put on social media is so much more real. And because it is the thing that I had to put out there, like I've got 5 minutes now to walk from the casino to the Bitcoin conference. Let me talk about that. The best viewership I've ever gotten, which is not saying much because I don't have a big, a massive following, but that has been a really rewarding thing too.
In my experience, Oliver, what you're saying is spot on.
Yeah.
I'll over the years, I've been writing, practically every day for 15 years. And I can tell you that over the years, I'll have, put a lot of thought into things and really think that like, this is really good work. People are going to
Yeah.
love it. Nobody cares. Then I spend,
Right.
3 seconds writing something up, making a joke and it goes viral, right? Like, what you're saying is, and I've talked to a lot of people that agree. It's literally the exact same thing. When you don't think twice about it, you're super authentic. Like you just said, you're going from one place to another and you're just talking about it from the casino to the Bitcoin conference. Classic example. You don't think twice. You just get up and start rapping. You send it out and people love it. It's not surprising at all to hear that. Now, let me ask you this.
This guy asks any longs to keep. XLK. You guys hit it earlier. XLK. Huge. Huge.
Nice.
I
Nice.
haven't been that plugged in the last couple of weeks, so I needed to have something to say for you real quick. And sorry, I'm doing the bachelor thing, eating cold pizza this morning from Paisano's Thin Crust, best in Chicago, by the way, for those who debate it.
What's the name of the place?
Paisano's.
Paisanos?
Mhm.
Paisanos in Chicago. Okay. Next time
Yep.
I'm in town, that's where I'm going.
This other guy says, I don't get why an ETF would be the right instrument. That was my point. I get the trade, but how to package it in the ETF is proving challenging for me right now. However, I found some cool stuff going on at the Bitcoin conference that was crypto related, but what I think will be the bridge into TradFi. I'm working on some stuff with that I think is very exciting. People who
Oliver,
are
let me
harnessing.
ask you something.
Mhm.
I want to close the loop there on the media side because
Oh yeah.
one of the things
Mhm.
that I've noticed in media is
I didn't want to bore your audience. I wanted
no, you're
to.
good. I'm really generally curious about it because
Thank you.
generally in the media they're really only interested in views so that they can sell advertisements and things like that. But on the TD Ameritrade network turning into the Schwab network, their goals are not so much to sell advertising. Correct me if I'm wrong. They want
Correct.
people
Correct.
trading. They want
Correct.
action. They want to give
Correct.
people ideas. Do I
Everybody
have
wants
that
that
right?
model. It's a beautiful model. We know it
Yeah.
works. Anybody who wants to do it, that's the way to do it. If you can't figure it out, I'm happy to help you. I am with some people, but
So is
it's
that
a
is that
it's
an
a model. It
accurate
exists.
is that an
It's
accurate description? The difference there,
100%. You
big
nailed it,
difference.
JC. You nailed it. But there's another added level too. But this I can't quite. This is more. I can't quite go that high. But there is one more very key way and monetizable property of a financially institution owned television. But it's I mean, you're right. The thing is that um, that's probably all I'll say on that. Um,
Wow, you're gonna leave us like that? You can't even give us a
well,
hint?
um, yeah, it's about marketing. It's about marketing. It's not a big secret, but it was never quite deployed in the right way. But then but the brokerage model, you're right, easy, right? You want people to trade on your brokerage, and obviously you don't want people to blow themselves up either. So you want
Right.
to teach them to trade, okay?
Yep.
So here's what I'll say about that. I am very comfortable doing that because I also know that you can make money playing cards. So if you can make money playing cards, then by translation, you can make money trading, okay? So that part, however, you could argue that, you know, it gets complicated because the table of poker players is basically infinite in trading. But there are enough live examples that we can see around us and in the groups and the communities of the elite traders that they are making money, right? And so that was a powerful takeaway from New Orleans as well, is because, you know, we know how hard that is because I know how hard it is as a poker player, and there's only 9 players at the table, and all the math is very easily calculable.
What
yeah,
are the biggest similarities between poker and trading? Why are so many investors
because you
and
have
traders
to
of
because
both
you have to
of
stop
short and long
losing
time
money.
horizons obsessed with poker too?
Yep, because you have to stop losing money to start making money. Going from red to black is the biggest thing that happens, and being able to stay above that. So that's where I like the crypto stuff that I saw in Vegas, because what it does is it does the same idea. It harnesses a characteristic that then drives a different outcome, which is basically taking Bitcoin's volatility and generating income from it. And there's a lot of good stuff from that that's happening in the ETF world right now. Similar to what people are doing with the yield and the income funds from a high beta and high gamma stuff like, you know, all the other Palantirs and stuff, you know. So there's a lot of great ETFs out there right now. A lot of people, and I don't mean to, I'm bringing that up because if you're a trader, there's a lot of alternatives. Like,
Did we lose him? Well, it was great. Well, all right. Well, listen, guys. We just dropped the mic, just like that. But I I appreciate the comparisons between poker and trading. It's fascinating to me that just how many traders and investors I've met over the years that are doing both. Right? It's great. We're gonna close out early today. Steve Strazza is doing some moving. I'm here in beautiful Avalon, New Jersey. Just got pinged by John Nigerian. Dr. J, big ups. Speaking of Chicago, Dr. J here in Avalon, New Jersey as well. So just got pinged by John. So I'm going to go get a beverage with him later today. We got our conference call tonight. Premium members of All-Star Charge Premium. Chairman of All-Star Charge, will be your host on today's conference call. So check your inbox there. Our last show of the week is going to be tomorrow. Spencer Israel is going to be back next week. Happy to have Spencer back. Steve Strazza in limbo down in Florida, making moves, finally leaving Key West, moving on to bigger and better places. Maybe not better, just different. I really like Key West, so no hate there. So guys, 5 o'clock today, All-Star Charge Premium Conference Call. I will be hosting. I'll send you some pics with drinks with John Nigerian later today. And I will catch you tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Steve Strazza. Thank you, Izzy on the 1s and 2s. Fonz with the Chartmaster Flex. Oliver Renick, thank you for stopping by. And I will see you tomorrow. Adios.
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.